Welcome, everyone, to the Healthy School Food Summit, brought to you by the Coalition for Healthy School Food and PlantPure. I'm your host, Ron Gandiza. In this session, we are honored to have with us Jane Esselstyn. Jane is a fresh, charismatic voice who brings her perspective and passion as a nurse, researcher, mother, and teacher to the forefront of the plant-based movement. She presents her work, research, and high-energy demos all over the country. And her annual conference, Prevent and Reverse Heart Disease for Women, focuses on the power of plant-based approach to eliminate this number one killer of women and other preventable lifestyle-related diseases. Jane says prevention is the new cure, and the most powerful, relevant, and productive tool known today is a plant-based diet. Jane is an avid and inventive designer of plant-strong recipes and the co-author of the Prevent and Reverse Heart Disease Cookbook. She created the recipe sections of the #1 New York Times bestseller, Plant Strong and the Engine 2 7-Day Rescue by Rip Esselstyn. Jane brings her high energy and straightforward message to her presentations, research studies with kids, food demonstrations, and cookbooks with clarity, hilarity, and a can-do attitude. She and her husband, Brian Hart, live in Cleveland, Ohio with their 3 plant-based children, and Jane graduated from the University of Michigan, where she competed as a nationally recruited swimmer and varsity rower. Welcome, Jane.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah.
I was showing the cookbooks as you were saying things.
Well, we'll have links to those cookbooks as well, because we want to make sure teachers and school administrators have those available to them. So we'll put those on our website. Tell me a little more about how you started your plant-based journey.
I guess almost the way that someone learns a second language in their home. We grew up eating this way pretty much from my teens on. I mean, you're still a teen, you're still at home, so you're eating what's being made at home. And with my dad around, he did a pretty amazing job of sort of drilling the ideas into all of our heads. And so I think I just sort of osmosis a lot of it. But as far as doing this as my work, I'd say when my mom started saying, hey, Essie's going to write a book and I need to collect all our recipes, write things down. And we're all like, oh, whatever. No. This is the way we eat. Who cares? And then she started writing them down. And then Rip was going to start writing things down for his book. And he said, Jane, can you do the recipes for my book? And I was like, oh my gosh, okay, here we go. Writing things down and making recipes. And here's the principles why. And we realized before we knew it, that this was what we were all doing. And people wanted to do it. Look who's behind me. Say hi, Dad. You can't see your face.
Hi.
Hey.
Hi. Dr. Esselstyn.
Yeah, he's
Hi there.
He's plugging his phone in right now. There's a million plugs in the house, but he's got to go right here to this one.
Well, it's an honor to have.
All right. Well, so
Go ahead.
So I got involved with it because we started writing recipes down, and at the same time, my husband and I had 3 little kids, and they were all eating plant-based. So we realized that he's on the floor plugging in his iPhone. Now he's out, and my husband and I were raising these 3 kids who are now teenagers, and they were eating plant-based, and it just made sense. Like, you know what? This is something that we do, that we're doing, that people are asking us what we do. And all right, this is real. I mean, for our whole lives, we were kind of like this strange people who ate plant-based or were vegetarian or vegan. And suddenly it was like validated in an odd way. So then I was a nurse. I went to nursery school. I'm an RN, and to have an RN behind my name and write these recipes just made it, people seem to trust a little more that as a teacher, as a parent, as a nurse, I'm not doing any harm to anybody.
What do you suggest to parents when they say, how do I make sure my kids are healthy?
Parents always want to throw things to the school and throw things to the doctor because parents have so much on their plate. But I do think that if you start early, like literally in utero or when a kid's born, with just, this is the way that we're going to eat. This is what we're going to feed them. It's easy. Like our kids never have had meat or they don't drink milk, and it isn't an issue. And they're all, they're 18, 17, and 15, and they're all tall, tons of hair, big athletes. They got a couple state swimming records, and I think eating plant-based gives them an edge, actually. My son's 6'6.5". He's hugely tall, and they're just lean. And anyway, I'm getting carried away. But to parents, I just say, be an example and do not be scared. Do not fear having boundaries. Kids hear that voice in their head, even though they might go, they still hear it. And they're going to hear this, and then this, and then soon enough they're going to have friends over. And next thing you hear your kids say is, hey, come on in, but we don't eat dairy. So if we want an ice cream tonight, we have to go out. Like, just they end up adapting to what their family values are, no matter what it is. And for some parents, I think it might be worth it for them to actually meet with somebody and get an education about food, because some parents just don't know about the basics around food. And I certainly would say learn about a plant-based diet and the power that has to prevent not just obesity, but so many other comorbidities or chronic illnesses that can go along with eating a standard American diet. So if one can eat more of a plant-based diet in life, that's much more helpful.
I get people talking about your recipes all the time because I'm in a lot of Facebook groups. They always refer to your books as one of the things that saved them, literally saved them, because they felt like they couldn't eat this way until because they thought that the food wasn't going to taste good or that they couldn't prepare it. But that's why I always feel very grateful for authors of cookbooks that are plant-based, because again, it overcomes some of that pushback you get from people who say, there's no way I could do this. So out of your books, what are the most popular recipes you'd say for children? So parents can give their children something that they at least have a chance of getting the children to like.
That's such an interesting question. And I get it all the time. Like, what are your favorite recipes? What do kids love the most? Well, kids will love, of course, they're going to love things that probably are, sweet and salty or whatever. So I think some of the best things to do are to try to be a little bit more like Europe. Don't have kiddie food and adult food, but just give everybody the same food and they'll like it. So what we have done, what I've found, is that having our meals kind of be like Chipotle or Subway, in that you start here and you build how you want. And the exposure to all these different options grows. Like our kids, like, for example, let's just talk about making your own burrito or nori roll or whatever. So you start with rice, and somebody might like bok choy and red peppers and black beans and and guacamole and salsa, whereas one kid will have just a plate of rice and they're done. And the next thing you know, it's a plate of rice and they added some mango salsa. Maybe it's a year later or 3 years later. I don't care. The mommy Chipotle, all the options will stay, and I'll change up. Oh, corn salsa or whatever. Can you turn the water off? The water's running. I'm sure it's loud for you. And as they grow and the exposure to all this stuff grows, so does their willingness to like, or to give it a go, to try it, to like it. Maybe they have a friend come over and the friend has, you guys have brown rice, black beans, mango salsa, corn salsa, regular salsa, guacamole, romaine, and chives or scallions. And they're either friends eating this big bowl and they're having a little, rice with mango salsa. Next thing you know, they have a little more. So I'm stubborn, but I'm not going to give up on exposing them to all these different options. So I feel like that's a variety of food, like grains, greens, beans, and some Shazam. All these salsas and sauces and salsas and spreads, hummuses, those keep, for me, the food alive. And if I can get my kids exposed to that, with friends, with just over time, stubborn mom stuff, then hooray. But having a variety and being willing to put out the variety of things, occasionally it feels wasteful, but I think that helps kids. Other thing that kids like is to be involved with cooking. I'm sure you've heard everybody say that, but if they help you a little bit, if they literally just chop up the mango or the tofu cubes, or they pour the water in the rice, I mean, anything to involve them, to invest them, it helps so much. I know my son, who's 6'6.5", he loves avocados, and we need to fatten him up a little bit. I mean, he's like 6'6.5", 165 or so, and so he looks kind of like this pencil. He's just so what he loves is to have lots of guacamole. So I'm like, you eat more guacamole than all of us combined, so you have to make it. So now he loves to get in there and have it fresh, maybe with lemon, maybe with a little bit of, stir in some cucumber or whatever. But I love that he's now invested in doing it. We have a Yonana's machine, but we don't use it all the time. It's fun, maybe when their friends are over and stuff, but we always freeze bananas and, put them, Yonana's. Have you had a Yonana's machine? It is soft serve. It's not the banana soup that you can make with a Cuisinart or something, but it is great soft serve. And I love making my Adonis chocolate cake for celebrations because it's plant perfect. It has it's got cocoa powder, but no nuts. Just great. And of course, the kale cake with blueberry or raspberry frosting, which is always a huge hit. Have you had kale cake?
No.
Have you made it?
I have not had kale cake. I know I love kale, but I have never seen kale cake in my life.
Wow! It's like Dr. Seuss came to cook with you. It's this deep green. I mean, it's Dr. Seussian green. It's great.
Kale cake sounds like something that would fit my family because we're a family of plant-based people as well.
The key to the kale cake, I'll tell you now. The key to the kale cake is when you cook the kale ahead of time, you blur it first so it looks like a green smoothie or a green, just like a green cup of just absolutely pureed green. Then you add it into the rest of the stuff. If you just add the cooked kale to the flour, it'll be flecked and brown. You want the green, like Crayola, Dr. Seuss green. So blur it up first on its own. The directions say so, but people don't seem to follow the directions.
Well, I'll make it. I'll send a picture. Make sure we post it on PlantPure because I don't think a lot of people have heard about kale cake. So we'll definitely make that something that we feature, and we'll have.
It is my signature dessert.
All right, we'll post the recipe to a link to the recipe on the website.
No. You have to buy the book for this one. You cannot post this one. This is my gem.
Yeah.
You don't get to post it. You can buy the book.
So we're going to make sure we have links to your book because, again, your book is something that's often promoted within the Facebook groups because people love to share it and love to share the recipes because it's something that, as you said, not only can the parents make it, but they can get their kids involved to make it too. And like I said, one of the things that I really enjoyed about your presentation in Atlanta was the fact that it was very fun. It wasn't intimidating. Sometimes we see people that are very clinical. Here's what you do. Here's the ingredients you add. And they don't make it fun. And the thing is, we talk about kids making it fun. So what's your key to making things fun? Because you seem to have a knack of just getting people really excited.
Well, I did, and I'm doing research with the Cleveland Clinic with obese kids with high cholesterol. And we're having them be on actually, our original study was with half the group being on a plant-based diet, other half being on the American Heart Association diet. And after 1 month, we measured the difference. And American Heart Association did better, but plant-based did really well. So they said, please repeat it. Please repeat the study. And so we are repeating the study right now. We're in the middle of doing it with a plant-based diet, American Heart Association diet, and a Mediterranean diet. So all these kids are coming in, and we have them eating, obviously, a plant-based diet. And to make it be sort of have options and be fun, every time I meet with them, I will say, okay, we're going to make, veggie burgers and just, smash it all up, and you can do this, this, and this is how you can make it firm so it fits in the grill when you go to your friend's house. Or carrot dogs. Here's a carrot dog, and it's just the shape of a hot dog, and it's cooked until it's hot dog soft. And what kind of fixings do you put on your hot dog? What do you put on your hot dog? And get the kids involved with choosing what they want, and that there are choices, and they're not just sitting there eating salad in the corner like a rabbit. They're involved, and they're part of the barbecue. What can you take to school? Let's try this hummus, that hummus. We've got all kinds of different kinds of colors of hummus. Beet hummus and the green hummus and the red hummus and the purple hummus, just awesome. And then, of course, I get some desserty things out there with the Yonanas and the different color cakes, the Kale cake and the Adonis chocolate cake. And there are just a great variety of breakfasts, and having kids know that they can eat oats, steel cut or rolled oats, or cook them, or raw oats like a horse. Some kids are like, I can be like a horse? I can eat raw oats? So they are, they're young enough they can get excited about this stuff. And I have them taste stuff and make stuff when they can. And again, they just having somebody who's excited about it. And I also teach middle school sex ed. So I'm used to talking to kids about things that maybe are a little, I don't know. So I don't mind just leaning into that awkward or uncomfortable, or give it a try, or don't do that. So, there's more action. And anyway, so we are, I think I'm just a little chip off of Ann Esselstyn's block there. She just gives it gusto and puts so much belief behind it that you can't help but be like, okay. Like my mom is right now making her morning breakfast, which is steel-cut oats, nutritional yeast, mushrooms, sriracha, turmeric, smoked paprika, and 2 cups of kale. It's like dinner, but she makes it every morning for breakfast. There she is making her and it is, she calls it these like smoky, savory oats. Oh, the computer's going. And it is, by anybody's measuring stick, wild and weird. But I tell you, if you try it, it is addicting. Addicting. But who would think of it? Who would think to put that stuff together? Oh, she's coming to show you.
Wow. Okay, now
looks like dinner. Looks like dinner.
It's got ground flaxseed on top.
Oh, and some ground flaxseed on top.
We so appreciate you taking the time. I know you're headed on a trip right now with the family, going to Ireland. Is that correct?
Yeah, I'm presenting over there. Had a great greengrocer / restaurant called The Happy Pair. These 2 twins from Ireland. They're awesome. You should interview them. They are a load of fun. And I'm presenting there, but we're going to go and hike on in the Wicklow Mountains, just south of Dublin while we're there.
Well,
so,
be safe.
Work and pleasure.
Be safe, and I want to make sure that people know where to get more information. And what website should they visit if they want to learn more about your books and your recipes and what you're doing?
Well, my website, my business is Healthcare is Self-Care. I know it's a big mouthful, but as you know, healthcare is self-care. Taking care of yourself is the way to do it. So my website is horrible. It's a wonderful website, but it's called HCISSC, HCISSC, healthcareisselfcare.com, where there's information about like the women's conference every March and other things that we do. My husband and I run seminars called Wrapping Your Head, Heart, and Hands Around Plant-Based Eating. And it is just food, tons of food and how to do it. And everyone's preparing the food themselves. And we have a little bit of structure, lecture around it. My parents are there. My dad comes and has a big meal with us. My mom is there the whole time, zipping around, like a wild, energetic comet throughout the room the whole time, and other things that we have going on. Also, my dad's site, dresselstyn.com, is a great place for resources, and engine2.com.
We'll have your links up there, and Kale birthday cake's coming up next for me because that's my next project. I want to try that because I haven't ever heard of that to begin with, but now my grandson, my 4-year-old grandson, loves kale. Like we do kale smoothies all the time. So
Oh.
I'm curious to see if he will take to the kale birthday cake.
Now you can do blueberry or raspberry frosting. You choose whatever color he wants to go with, the red and green or the purple and green.
He's a big blueberry fan.
That's always fun.
So thank you so much for your time.
Perfect.
Thank you so much for your time. And, we'll have your links to your website posted on our website as well on the Food School Summit, or schoolfoodsummit.com. And also, I want to make sure we'll have links to Dr. Esselstyn's site as well. And please give my best to Dr. Esselstyn and your mother, Anne.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Thank you. And for anyone else who wants to learn more about the Coalition for Healthy School Food, just go to healthyschoolfood.org and to plantpurenation.com if you want to learn more about PlantPure Nation and the meals and the plant-based movement there. Again, thank you so much, Jane, for your time during this busy time traveling. We really appreciate it.